are no words to explain it, but just horror.
This story isn't easy to hear, and it certainly isn't easy to tell. But it's a story this woman is brave enough to share. We're hiding her identity for her protection, and in a moment, you'll understand why. Her story begins 6 years ago when she stumbled upon a pair of SD cards.
Assuming that they were mine, I put them in, and lo and behold, there was this video that I could only describe as something I've seen in a horror movie.
That footage shows what looks like an unconscious, unidentified woman and a man
Scanning her entire body and then proceeding to do things to her.
Things so graphic, we can't show them on TV.
He continued to violate her.
When you saw this, did you know right away who the person behind the camera was?
Right near the end, the camera fell and you could see his face. And I can only describe that as it being a out-of-body experience.
She didn't know the woman, but she did know the man. In fact, she used to date him. She said when she ended their relationship and moved out, some of their belongings got mixed up. That's how she says she ended up with his camera and the SD cards. As horrified as she was seeing this video, the nightmare was about to get worse. She found another video of another woman, but this time, she knew exactly who it was.
And this one was me. You could see my C-section scar.
You had no idea
No clue.
this had happened to you.
No.
What she did next seems like the logical thing to do. She called the police. She told the Cherokee Sheriff's Office that she had been raped, that she had video evidence, and she knew who attacked her. She thought it was an open and shut case. That was in May of 2015. Today, more than 6 years later, her case is still unsolved. The reason she asked we blur her face is not because she was raped. It's because she says the man who raped her is still out there.
I'm assuming they're doing all the background, they're looking through the SD cards, they're gonna find him, they're gonna question him.
But the sheriff's office never questioned him. And we're not naming the man because he has not been arrested or charged. The detective on the case, Claude Dobbs, first emailed about potentially talking to her accused rapist almost 3 years after she reported it. Then, after 5 months without finding him, the detective seemingly gives up, apologizing, saying there wasn't more he could do. Fast forward 2 more years, the search for the man is back on. And the detective writes he's ready to get a warrant, twice, saying it's warrant time. The sheriff's office even put this post on Facebook, asking for the public's help. Then on March 8th of this year, Detective Dobbs says he doesn't have enough to make a charge. He adds he's gone underground and questions if he is even in the state anymore. But the man in the video didn't leave the state. In fact, he's still living in Cherokee County. How do we know? He told us.
Are you in Ackworth still?
Yeah.
And he knew about this Facebook post.
Do you know what they wanted to ask you questions about?
No.
Are you aware that you've been accused of a rape?
No, my God, what?
He admits he made these recordings, but he says the women were in on it.
She knew about it.
So you're saying she wasn't unconscious?
I mean, she might have been not unconscious, but she was awake. I mean, because after the whole thing was done, I mean, she was right there, and we did it again. Oh my God.
So she might have been unconscious when you had sex with her?
Yeah, no. We talked about it, and it was a fantasy thing.
So the fantasy is that she's passed out and then
She's just asleep, and it was like, probably mine too, and we start, I start, touching it, whatever, and then she wakes up, and then that's what happened.
So in the videos, though, we don't see anybody wake up.
What?
Do they ever wake up in the videos?
Yeah.
They do. Do you?
I mean, no, we stopped shooting, or I stopped shooting.
We spoke to him on the phone for more than 15 minutes.
I did not rape anybody.
But if she was unconscious...
She wasn't unconscious. I mean, she woke up. Oh my God.
Asking him questions the Cherokee Sheriff's Office had 6 years to ask. Early on in our investigation, the Sheriff's Office said it put a tremendous amount of effort into this case. A spokesperson declined to comment on camera, but told us in an email, investigators have been unable to obtain any physical evidence or corroborating witness testimony that would provide probable cause for arrest. But the case is still open.
I support the survivor. And
Jennifer Bivens, the president and the CEO of the Georgia Network to End Sexual Assault, says she doesn't know what investigators are waiting for.
When you are incapacitated, that is a crime. When you can't consent, that is a crime.
She explains that if someone has no memory of sex and did not consent, that's rape under Georgia law. Bivens could barely hide her frustrations as we showed her emails we obtained from open records about this case.
They've got the freaking video. Like, what else more do you need?
For him to not have been questioned, he's able to be identified. To me, that's troubling.
Criminology professor Thaddeus Johnson says he thinks authorities have probable cause, and not bringing the man in for questioning could put others at risk.
He's done this to one person. And again, allegedly done this to one person. He could allegedly do this to someone else. He moved it like a predator moves. He wasn't moving like a person's first time.
And while the sheriff's office maintains via email, it investigates every case to the fullest extent, and detectives say the man went underground, we found they had opportunity to question him just one day before he called us.
A deputy pulled him over for a traffic violation here at this intersection in Cherokee County. The sheriff's office confirms the stop happened, but says because there was no warrant, no red flag popped up during the stop, and the man was free to go.
What are we doing? Like, what is happening? Why? This is the situation at hand. There is something systemically going on. And it's up to us to advocate for ourselves because no one else is going to.
Advocating for herself is exactly what she's doing now. Aside from sharing her story with us, she hired an attorney and is putting pressure on investigators and the district attorney to act.
I've gone through 6 years of just waiting. My life's been on hold. I'm ready to move on.
Do you feel like you can still get justice?
I don't know what justice looks like anymore.